rejoindre Mademoiselle et sa deuxième Chanel and Jodia while parler des amis imaginaires. Honestly, I just made that up. Is that how you say imaginary friends in Creole? Today we're gonna be talking about imaginary friends, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I really wanted to look into imaginary friends, the psychology behind it, and why some of us had them and some of us did not. Now, I had a few imaginary friends growing up, mainly because I was raised as an only child. If any of you guys ever watched my personal channel, you would know I did have a sister growing up. However, she was my half sister, but I no longer speak to her because I realized she was fucking trifling as shit. Feel free to go linked down in my description box or just go on to my personal channel and go watch the videos. They're honestly probably like my first videos that I did on that channel regarding just that shit show, so you know you'll get full context over there. But apparently, according to research done by a lot of different people, it is believed that over 30 to 50% of children will have imaginary friends. However, it is more common to have an imaginary friend if you are an only child. Now, like I said, although I wasn't technically an only child, I was raised as one, and so was my sister. We did not grow up in the same household. However, we did still have each other in most of our lives. So I did have at least like 2 to 3. The third one kind of like disappeared after a while, but it's funny because as I've gotten older, I realized that those were not necessarily imaginary friends, those were spirits. So much so that my parents actually took me to Haiti for the first time specifically to take me to an ogon because they thought that I was being attacked by spirits. Okay, so it's just very interesting. I didn't know that. I thought I was just chilling with my friends, but apparently I was chilling with my spirits, and I did not really know that the whole time. So apparently I was talking to ghosts and not imaginary friends. So according to Celeste Kidd, a professor of psychology at UC Berkeley and the primary investigator at Kid Lab, imaginary friends are a symptom of developing social intelligence in a kid. So it's actually completely normal to have imaginary friends. And it actually fulfills a need for children to establish friendships. Research also suggests that over 65% of kids will have a playmate than not have a playmate. And that's according to therapist Katie Lear. And it's actually very rare that any kid would think that their imaginary friend is real at all. However, many people, especially adults, think that imaginary friends are not necessarily imaginary friends, especially my parents who actually ran with me to Haiti to take me to a whole fucking ogon to see what the fuck was going on, okay? So many people think that imaginary friends could be past relatives, okay? Ancestors, ghosts, entities, demons, angels such as guardian angels or archangels, deities, or of course a manifestation of mental illness. Now, when it came to me growing up, for me, I always do this thing and I still kind of do it, but to this day, they still don't know why I do it. Comment down below if any of you guys do it because I still don't know why I do it. Whatever. I do this thing where I hit my head. Like I do this a lot. Like, so if I'm in the car, I hit my head. Sometimes if I can't sleep, I hit my head like this. So my parents sat here and took me to all these neurological people to see why I do this all the time. They said there was nothing wrong with me, but I do it all the time. If I'm trying to seek comfort, or like I'm genuinely uncomfortable, I just hit my head. I mean, personally, I had no issues. I developed perfectly fine. I graduated on time. I got help back. Like I ain't never had no damn issues. And of course, if I'm sitting here talking to myself, they really thought I was under a spiritual attack, y'all. So comment down below if any of you guys do that too, because I've never met anyone that does that. To this day, like there's rare occasions where like I'm sleeping with my boyfriend. He's like, "Are you okay? Like you're hitting your head on the." So fucking crazy. But I mean, I've never like I'm beginning to think it must be a spiritual thing because cognitively there's nothing wrong with me. They tested me for all of these things. Yo, my mom would sit there and cry because she's just a fucking crybaby. You know these damn Pisces motherfuckers. Y'all think something's wrong with everything, but apparently there's nothing wrong with me. I still do it on very rare occasions, but as a kid, I had to do it in order to go to sleep. I had to do it in order to get comfort. I was sitting there talking to myself all the damn time, so my parents thought something was wrong with me, but I'm like, I was damn lonely. I ain't had no damn body. Like I did have my sister, but again, I didn't sleep with the lady all the damn time. I only had the sister of mine sometimes, and she ain't fucking like me, so what the hell y'all wanted me to do? So I had my little 2 imaginary friends, but I had one that was literally always with me all the time. It was a dude, okay? The girl wasn't with me all the time. It was a dude and it was a girl. They were like, kind of like protected me. They were really, really nice. They would always give me advice, but sometimes like I would actually talk to them in my sleep. And I think that's what really concerned my parents because I would sleep and they said it was like I was like fighting them or like they were playing with me in my sleep type shit. And that's eventually what happened. Like when they took me to Haiti, the spirits or whatever, they had to conjure up the spirits or whatever. I think they made me go to sleep, and that's when they took me to the Olga, which is crazy because I'm like, I don't remember any of this. And I have very good memory when it comes to shit like that, especially going to Haiti. When I was a kid, I remember everything in Haiti. But I'm like, how come I don't remember? So seeing this Olga that you talk about. But basically, they made me go to this Olga. The Olga was talking about some, oh no, she's fine. It's just the spirits. Anything serious, like they're not attacking her or anything. It's the spirits. It's the Loa. You know, the Loa are communicating with her and they're keeping her safe. You know, you have nothing to be afraid of. So apparently, whatever type of imaginary friend I had was not necessarily imaginary friend. It was some sort of Loa or deity or whatever that was keeping me safe and talking to me and keeping me company as a child. It was not an imaginary friend. I really wish it would fucking come back because sometimes I need some damn guidance. I don't know. Eventually, by the time I was like maybe 10, 11, definitely went away. But typically when it comes to imaginary friends usually go away by that time. By the time you reach like that puberty type of stage, definitely by the time that was definitely about around the time mine went away. I was kind of sad. I felt really lonely, but not really. I don't even think I noticed. I'm never gonna lie. Like you barely notice when your imaginary friend goes away. People usually develop an imaginary friend from the ages of 3 to 8, and it's very interesting. I think a lot of people kind of just ignore it, but there are some times where you should be kind of weary because some people do keep their imaginary friends well into adulthood, and some people might think it's weird, while some people, I mean, don't think much of it, which I don't know. I feel like it is something people should think about because sometimes you could be talking to a spirit. There was somebody that wrote into me for the Crick Crack series, and it was terrifying because like literally her daughter was talking to a whole fucking spirit that takes over the souls of children. And I believe the spirit was Wittig or Wittig. I think I'm saying it right. And that shit was wild, you know? So you really probably should be interested in your children's imaginary friends, especially if you are someone that does communicate with spirits or you're more tapped into that zone, because kids do have a well open third eye. Okay, they have a spiritual opening. You know, sometimes your kid's imaginary friend is not an imaginary friend, and I'm happy my parents actually took that fucking shit seriously. Luckily for me, it wasn't, you know, anything bad, but you do have to be a lot more vigilant about stuff like that, because I mean, yeah, it could just be an ancestor, to be honest. And a lot of times I do feel like an imaginary friend can be an ancestor. I do feel like sometimes it can be a deceased loved one just watching over your kid. I do feel like sometimes it could be just, you know, a regular ghost that just finds a taking or liking to your child, and they're like, oh, you know, I like that kid, let me go protect them. They might need some protection. Their family seems cool. I feel like that's really what it could be sometimes, protecting your kid. And sometimes they just want to do harm to your kid, and they're like, let me go fuck with that motherfucker real quick. Like, I really feel like that's genuinely what it can be. So I feel like you could never be too careful. Be very, very careful. If your kid actually has an imaginary friend, be interested. And I feel like you should be interested in whatever it is that your kids are doing in a general sense. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, like, okay, my kid's doing this, my kid's doing that, whatever the case may be, I'm not interested. Oh, it's just a friend, it's just this. Like, no, be very, very invested. For me, I mean, luckily I was fine, but for a lot of kids, I feel like, especially now, concerning a lot of people are just sitting here doing willy-nilly whatever, buying sage wherever, buying crystals wherever, thinking witchcraft is just some TikTok shit. Y'all need to be very, very careful, because y'all letting all types of shit into your homes with your kids, doing whatever the fuck, thinking all of this shit is a game. Watch your damn kids, okay? Okay. If your kid says they have an imaginary friend, make sure it's an actual imaginary friend. With that being said, let me know down below, did you have an imaginary friend? What was their name? And most importantly, do you think it was actually an imaginary friend? I definitely had one. Oh, I didn't even tell you what the imaginary friend was. My first one was Roger. The girl, I don't really remember her name, but he was Roger. That was his name, Roger. I don't think that was his real name. I think that was the name he just told me, point blank period. And it's crazy because I had a clan of them. And I remember every single time I dreamed of them, we was on a farm. We was always on a farm. And yeah, I stopped having those dreams. So sad. I don't want them back though. Please don't give them back. I don't have time for that. But yeah, good days. Great old days. But yeah, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, do all that. I hope you guys are enjoying 12 days of Halloween. And of course, make sure you guys get your merchandise. I love you guys so very much. And I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye. What's going on?